I had to drop out in Kona this year due to an heel/Achilles injury. Actually, this injury is bothering me for quite some while now. In 2014, I also had quite some issues with the Achilles, and even if I only have been able to run maybe 28 Ks per average per week for the whole year, I was still able to come up with a Kona win. So I have a little bit of experience with that, and I want to show you some of the exercises I've been doing. Of course, this is a very difficult topic, and I'm not a doctor, so probably at the end you should actually visit a doctor and not just Google your injuries and then try to self-treat them. But here are some of the exercises I've been doing in the last years, and that served me very well. So the first exercise is probably the most well-known exercise you can do for Achilles tendonitis. Achilles tendonitis is when you wake up in the morning, you have a pain. When you start to walk, you're actually almost limping, and after a certain time, it probably gets better or completely disappears. And the same happens again when you start to run. At the beginning of your running session, you probably have some pain in the Achilles, and then slowly it gets better. That's actually stage 1, so you are still happy. There is another two stages you could get into. So if you have experience with that pain, probably it also reacts to this typical pressure when you just press your Achilles and you have a certain pain somewhere. That's also a sign of tendonitis. So what you do, the Achilles actually likes force, but it likes force in the right way. And the first exercise is on a stair where you are basically on your toes pretty much. And it's very important to fully go onto your toes and as high with your heel as possible. Because one of the weak points of the Achilles is actually the forward part, so the part that is facing towards the shin. That's often the weak spot, and if you fully extend your foot, that's where you get the front part of the Achilles, and you can actually put some load on the Achilles. What it does to the Achilles, it's a little bit a controversial topic. Some say it changes the type of collagen from collagen type 1 to 3, I guess. Please Google that. So it's a stronger collagen, and on the other hand, you might have some liquid in the Achilles, and it basically forces the liquid out. So if there's some inflammation or if you can feel this knot, it's actually good for that, and that's one of the reasons why you have this pain. So you let your heel slowly sink. If you have the problem more on the heel, you try not to go lower with your heel than your forefoot. Just stay level with your forefoot and not go lower. So you should not feel any pain if you have usually the pain on the heel. If you have the pain a little bit higher, maybe 2 or 3 centimeters above the heel, you actually could let the heel sink to the very lowest point, so fully stretched. That's what you see with the exercise that I do with my right foot. So usually I do the exercise about 3 times a day, and I do it 15 times each. But of course there's a lot of variations you can do. Usually I sometimes just hold the foot in a steady position. We come to that later, but you can also do that on a stair. You could also put even more load on the Achilles by either carrying a kettlebell if you're in the gym, or just whatever, a water bottle, or at home I have a weight vest, and that's also something where you can increase the load, which is even better, makes the drill and the exercise even more effective. So the second exercise is basically just a variation of the first exercise. So if you're in a gym and you have a multi-press, then you just put a step beneath that. So you have the bar, the weight bar, to stabilize yourself, and therefore you don't have any side force on your Achilles, which makes the drill even more effective. And I always found this a very good thing to do when you're in the gym and you have some gaps to fill between different exercises. I always go back to the multi-press and do something for my Achilles. So the third exercise is also in the gym with the leg press. We talked about the part of the Achilles that is facing forward towards the shin, and that's often the weak part. And with this exercise on the leg press, you can really train that part of the Achilles or put some load on that. So that's really important. What you basically do, it's just static holding. So you're just holding the weight, and you hold that for probably 10 to 15 seconds, up to 45 seconds, depending on how well you're trained. And what you do is just fully extend your foot, have all the weight on your toes basically, and then change every, like I said, 5 to 45 seconds. Another exercise, what shown great result in all sorts of studies, is if you combine these three exercises with stability exercises for your foot. You should not do that in the early stages when you really have a lot of pain, because that puts a lot of stress on the Achilles. So that's really in the later stages of your rehab. The Achilles is actually a really strong part of your body. But it's very strong in one direction, but it doesn't really like forces from the side. So it's very important to have a very stable step. And as you know, you do hundreds and thousands of steps when you're running a lot. So the faster your foot is able to stabilize itself, the better for the Achilles. At the beginning, you can basically just stand on one foot. For some people, that's already difficult. Then you know you definitely have to do something. The next step is to stand on one foot and just move the other. In this case, I just basically drawing eights in the air. By doing that, you're gonna destabilize the system a little bit, and there is more force on the other foot to stabilize itself. If you're already able to do that, congrats. Then you should try to close the eyes, and that makes it even way more difficult. So if that is already something you can do, then you could move on and do some more advanced stuff. Even for me, it's very difficult. I do those exercises pretty much every day, but still some of them are quite challenging, as you can see. And this is an exercise that's already leading towards running. So you have a little bit of a running movement in there. You can increase the difficulty even more by using weights or closing your eyes in these exercises. So this have been some of the exercises I've been doing for a very long time now, and I'm actually on the road to recovery, I guess. Of course, there's a lot more things you can do, like stretching, foam rolling. Of course, nutrition plays a huge role, and we are gonna talk about that in another video. But until then, of course, you are very welcome to comment your tips and your experience with your Achilles problems in the comment section below.